So that's a Corky, and that's a Corky, and that's a Corky, and that's a Corky, and yeah, while they all look completely different, they are all Corkies. And if you haven't figured it out, that's what we're talking about today. Corkies, general tips and tricks and general information about how to use Corkies. What's up, guys? Great to have you here. Thank you for watching. Today we are talking about Corkies. Now, for those of you that don't know what those are, never used them in the past, well, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of what these are, where they came from, and some general information. Now, in the 1970s, Paul Brown created the original Corky. Now, this is the original. It's not the original from 1974, but this is the original. Next, he came out with the Fat Boy. If you notice, they are a little bit different in size and shape. And then lastly, he created the Devil. These three were all original creations. And in 2010, Paul Brown sold the rights to these to MirrorLure. Now, MirrorLure eventually came out with the Paul Brown Soft Dyne and the Soft Dyne XL that were kind of mirrored off of the hard body Mirrordyne. Now, those are all Corkies, and the reason that these are called Corkies, while it doesn't say any of that on the package, is because inside every one of these is cork. The center of these is made out of cork. Now, that cork creates this very special and unique kind of buoyancy for these lures. Now, this here is the Fat Boy. Now, that cork inside there creates a buoyancy that allows this to descend very, very slowly. It doesn't sink to the bottom like most lures, and it just makes it incredibly unique. It also does not float. Well, this one not specifically. However, they do make a floating version. This is the floating Fat Boy. This is the regular Fat Boy. And the way that you can tell the difference is because all the floaters have a gill line painted on the side. So if they have a gill line, they float. If they don't, well, they don't float. They slowly descend. All of these lures, they do descend at about a foot a second. Now, everybody kind of knows that, but a lot of people don't use that information to their advantage. So because we know that these descend at about a foot per second, you can use that to find depth in water. You can use that to fish a very specific depth or water column, and all of that can be done with this Corky. Now, I am using the Fat Boy today because that is generally what I use most of the time. Now, for instance, if you are out wade fishing and you are fishing a drop-off, you know it's there, you can see the water color change, you know that you're in a drop-off, but you don't know exactly how deep that is. Well, this can tell you. What you can do is you can throw this out there and slowly let this descend. Now, when you feel this hit the bottom on your rod, or if you gain slack in your line, well, you know that you've hit the bottom. And if you have been counting the entire, way that this was descending, well, then you know about how deep that is. If you counted 10 seconds, then you know that the water at that point is about 8 to 12 foot deep, somewhere in that range, which can be very, very beneficial, especially in the summer when you have trout and redfish and things like that that are when it gets really, really hot outside midday. A lot of them are running into those deeper cuts and those drop-offs to cool off. Well, you can get your bait down there and fish right in front of their face. So that can be very, very helpful. Another way that you can use these for depth management is if you are, let's say that you are in a kayak or in a boat and you know exactly how deep the water is. Let's say it's 10 feet. And on your fish finder, you can see that fish are sitting at around 6 foot. Well, you can throw this into the water and slowly count until you reach 6, and you can really suspend this bait right in front of their face. You can slowly start twitching it in, jerking it in, slow retrieving this, and you're going to keep it around that 6 to 8 foot mark, which is right exactly where you want it to be if the fish are showing up on the fish finder at that depth. Really helps you put bait right in their face, unlike a lot of other baits that will sink, and so you have to work either bottom or you have to work them a certain way to get them to get in those water columns. These baits really just help you do that with a lot more ease. Now, another very unique thing about these baits is that they are extremely soft. They're also super bendable and malleable. They do have a metal wire that runs down the length of this bait. Now, a lot of us will bend and conform these in different ways to make it do different things in the water. I and a lot of other anglers will bend this nose down, bend the tail down so that you get this nice curve in the bait, and that makes the bait react a little bit different in the water. If you want to know more about that, exactly how you want to do that, head over to my buddy Captain Caleb TV on YouTube. I'll post a link below. He has an entire video on this, exactly how to do that. Now, the biggest thing that you do want to make sure is that the spine of this is completely straight. If it is bent over to one side or the other, well, this thing is going to rotate in the water. It's not going to swim right. And a lot of times it will start spinning, and it's absolutely useless at that point. So you do want to keep this spine completely straight, and you need to keep in mind that when fish hit these, because it is bendable and malleable, when fish hit these really, really hard, sometimes you can get them back and they are all twisted up and mangled. So you've got to really work these back in the right position that you want. Straight body, down the spine. You want to bend that nose down, bend that tail down, really get the motion that you want. All right, so the one issue that you may have with these baits or any lure that has multiple treble hooks is that these get caught on absolutely everything. So if you're out fishing and you plan on releasing fish for that day, well, these can be a problem because you can get 6 barbs stuck in a fish's mouth, and it's very, very difficult at that point to get them out and keep the fish safe and healthy and without harming the fish. Beyond that, if you're out wade fishing and you're using a net, a lot of times you'll find that with these double treble hooks, you'll have some of the hooks in the fish, you'll have some in the net, and it becomes an absolute disaster to get all of that untangled. So when I am releasing fish for the day, I'm just doing a catch and release, or if I'm doing any wade fishing, well, I generally switch the hooks over to this right here. These are inline hooks. They are from VMC. I'll put a link below to those as well. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can set up these hooks. Everybody has their own opinion. Some people do them both forward, some people do them both back. Now, I do them where they face each other, and there's a lot of debate on that. I'm not going to get into it. That's just what I like. It works for me. But one of the reasons that I do that facing each other is because I can hook these together, and then it fits really, really well inside my tackle box. I don't have treble hooks getting in the way and really stabbing into this. They're just out of the way. I can put them in my treble in my tackle box, and it fits very, very well. Beyond that, if I'm on a boat or if I'm on a kayak, well, I don't have that hook just getting snagged on everything. So it's really nice for me. I haven't noticed a difference when switching to inline hooks with hookup rates or anything like that. It's about the same. And generally when fish hit fat boys and corkies, they hit them hard. It's generally not a soft bite like you get on some of your soft plastics and things like that. These are a bigger bait. They have a big profile, and so when fish hit them, they generally attack them very, very hard, and you don't really have to worry too much about the hookup. Now, I do put these inline hooks in here just like I do on top waters. I change a lot of my top waters for the exact same reason. So I do keep some like this, and then I'll keep some that have trebles for certain days, and I use them both. But that is a good thing to do if you don't want to deal with all of the snagging and things like that. All right, now all of these Corkies come in a ton of different patterns and a ton of different colors. In fact, some of them will have rattles inside. Some of them are just painted in different ways. In fact, there's a lot of aftermarket companies that take these blanks and they paint them how they want, like this. This is from Coastal Marsh Lures. It is all airbrushed, painted on there in a very, very specific pattern. If you are looking for a huge selection of different types of colors and different types of Corkies, head over to Anglers Anonymous. They probably have one of the biggest Corky selections on the Texas coast. That's where I pick up all of mine. They just have pretty much everything you need. Any color that you could imagine, I guarantee they have it. All right, guys, well, that is it on the Corkies today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions about these, don't hesitate. Send me a message, send me an email, leave a comment below. I go through and I read every single email and message that you guys send me. In fact, that's how I come up with ideas for videos like this. I had a ton of questions on Corkies, and so that's why I did this video. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Send me a message. On that note, I am getting a bit overwhelmed with messages. So I'm thinking about doing a live stream, maybe like once a month, sit down, just talk fishing, drink beer, and answer questions for you guys. Just hang out and talk fishing. If that's something that you're interested in, please leave me a comment below. Tell me that you want to see that, and maybe I can figure out all that stuff on my side, and we can sit down and talk fishing and, you know, answer questions. I can ask you guys questions, and, you know, we can really talk about what you guys want to see on this channel. But thank you again for watching. I absolutely appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.